a playlist original.
What up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster. My name is Gaius Bowling, and Owen's alive. You guys missed
I
something
am alive.
before we start.
Yeah,
Before we started
we're
this,
we're recording about 30 minutes later than we normally would. I was moving a mirror that was left in my garage that I had just moved into, and the corner kind of hit the side of the garage and immediately shattered, and I felt it tear into my fingers. So I sent a video to Gaius and Jack here, and it looks like and there's just blood dripping all over the garage. So I had luckily there were some very kind strangers that ran out and got me some gauze and some heavy duty band-aids while I waited and let it drip. So we're here. I'm okay and ready to talk some movies and news.
it legit looked like a horror movie in the video. And before like Jack came on, and he just showed me his two fingers. I was like, "Oh, that was it." But I guess cuts like that can like bleed a lot.
No,
So I mean,
finger cuts are nasty, man, because that's where all the blood ends. It's got to go somewhere. So like when you have your hands by your side, the blood's rushing down. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of blood that comes out of the appendage, the extremities.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely some throbbing going on right now. But you know what? It's not. I'm not gonna let it phase me. I'm too into the pod.
Yeah. Well,
Dedicated.
that's good to hear. Well, today is gonna be just we don't have anything planned other than we're just gonna talk about a lot of stuff that happened last week and through this week. That was pretty big news. One of the things wasn't actually all doom and gloom like I thought it was gonna be, especially with how things started with a little company scrapping an entire movie, actually two movies. But still interesting to kind of see what that particular company is going to do moving forward. But before we get into that, has anyone watched anything new like in over the weekend or last few days?
I watched Prey like twice this weekend. Fun fact,
Wow.
yeah, dude, all right, right now if my voice sounds weird, I'm sick, but not with COVID, and it's such a weird thing, because like everyone was either I got COVID or I'm not COVID. So like now I'm like I'm sick, but like if this was 5 years ago or like even 3 years ago, I would go to work like this. Like I would
Yeah.
go into the office like feeling like this. Now it's like if you just say the S word, you're like, no, you stay home. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do all the stuff from home. So I had a lot of time to like these like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to like just fucking watch stuff. So I saw it
Jack.
twice. I loved it. I think Gaze, you put on your post that it was always going to be a streaming movie.
That's what they
which
said.
I
That's
was
what they
like,
said.
Yeah, no, I think that was like I think it was definitely a year too late. I think, just like with the timing, because like you need a Predator movie. Like if you say Predator movie, like I want to see it. So this one kind of like forgot about it, but then it came back and then I watched it and I liked it a lot. You really can't mess up a Predator movie because the concept's so simple. I mean, you can all right. Relax. You can
They
mess
have.
up you can mess it up with the people, the actors, but like if you're just
Yeah.
talking about the concept of an alien coming to Earth to basically recreate the most dangerous game, which is hunting humans, I find that awesome. So like, yes, the Adrian, what's his last name? He's got the
Adrian
Adrian
nerds.
Brody. Adrian Brody.
Is
Yeah.
that Brody? I don't want to mess it up. Brody. That was like an alright movie, but like I'll watch it. Like it's not like it's like top 10 or top 20, but just like Preg, I'll definitely sit down and watch it if it's on like FX or if I need a movie to put on, like I'll put those on. They're super simple, but like yeah, we're not gonna get. I mean, definitely not the most in-depth fucking stories in the world, but
Right.
I liked it. I liked them. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it too. So I watched it on like Saturday like evening, and I thought that it was I have a little bit of mixed feelings about it. Like 45 minutes in, I actually like paused it to see how much I had left. And I realized that like pretty much nothing had happened except for watching day-to-day Native American life. Basically like just them, like there was a 30-second scene, or maybe it was a whole minute of the mom basically grinding herbs on a stone. And I was like, do I really need to be watching this much of that? There was like a lot of sort of scenes like that I felt kind of dragged on. But I really did enjoy, like, as it's kind of said in the description, is like this was the Predator's first time that it had come to Earth. like I thought it was really cool to kind of see that it was his first experience or its first experience seeing stuff like dogs and bears and humans, and to see them try to attack it with spears and swords was pretty entertaining. And also when it fights the bears is pretty badass.
The bear fight's so sick.
So sick.
Like so sick, especially because like the camouflage, like you don't see you just see this bear just mauling something, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's like that's so dope. But then it's just like it lifting a fucking grizzly bear over its head, and there's the blood pouring
Breaking
down,
its
so you
blood.
see it all. Like I thought it was pretty dope. Like definitely like, but again, like think about it. What else are they supposed to do in the movie besides get hunted by the predator and like do Comanche Native American stuff?
Well, no, I was just talking in the beginning. It was just
No, I
like,
know, yeah,
it
but
was a
like
very
like,
long
there's-
build up.
there's nothing out there, like you know, like there's
Yeah.
no trains, there's no plane, like they're like, so I get like I did the same exact thing. Like I think about an hour and I'm like, all right, well,
When's
no,
the
not an
work
hour,
gonna
yeah, probably like
come?
40 minutes is like, yeah, just stop like there's like, okay, I only have like 35 minutes left to watch. So like, okay, cool, like it's gonna be super fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I think that there was definitely some good action, like obviously at the end, but I really did like that the way that they did the action. It was not fast cuts at all. It was like straight, like in your face. They did great practical and mixed with CGI effects for when someone's limbs were getting dismembered, or even just like something as simple as just like getting stabbed in the face or something like that. I mean, I always appreciate sort of those the direct shot, especially in a movie like this where it's not a PG-13 Marvel movie where you have to kind of minimize the gore, and so that's something that I kind of appreciate when it comes to a movie like this, and they don't quick cut, which I think they've done a lot in the past with some of the other Predator movies. So I really liked the way that they did the action, but I will say it was a very, very slow start to me, and it grew on me, but I don't know if I could sit through another hour and watch it twice like you did, Jack.
yeah, I like the female lead. What was her name, guys?
The actress's name?
Yeah.
I think it's like Amber Mid Thunder or something like that. Her last, yeah, it's MID.
I don't know.
Thunder, yeah.
I recognize her. I don't know what else she's in, but I like her. I liked her a lot.
She got a lot of good raves for this. I mean, I haven't watched it. I'm probably gonna watch it tonight after like people have been like praising this.
Yeah, like
Yeah, people have been praising this movie since they had like their first like big premiere at Comic-Con. That's where they screened it one of the first times, and like every critic that was there was like, why is this not going to theaters? Why is this going straight to streaming? And like, I think there's two things that kind of happen there. I think the Predator franchise is not really a surefire thing sometimes at the box office. It like hits or misses, and the last couple of times it's kind of missed. I think that's one reason, and another reason, Hulu said in their thing today when they said that it was their best premiere like ever, that they're trying to put focus on premiering big movies like this directly on the streamer because it like promotes their platform, which is interesting because like you know like another company we're going to talk about later is trying to stray away from that a little bit. So it just depends on like the platform and what they're choosing to do. I think this was a smart decision to do it this way. I don't think if it would have came out in theaters this weekend it would have opened all that great.
yeah,
And
no, absolutely not. They would
even
have been so pissed.
even with the good reviews, I mean, he has like a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't even think that's enough to kind of. I think the audience that really wanted to watch this was able to just watch it at home, and that was good. And and that's I mean I know it's hard too because it's not easy to measure that success because of course they don't release exact streaming numbers and like how many people actually watch. So that's always going to be an issue with streaming services. But I think there's enough bragging rights where if they're saying that it's their most watched release ever, I'm going to take their word for it. I mean, even though I would like to know exact numbers, I still think it did pretty well for them, and because especially considering all the hype it's gotten on social media in the last 2 weeks, and particularly this weekend when it premiered, like so many people like it, say it's the best Predator movie since the first one, and that's a lot of people have been waiting for a sequel like that. I personally like Predators, which is the one with Adrian Brody. The only thing I don't really like about that movie is the twist with like Topher Grace. I didn't really buy all that, but I do like that one. I do like that one overall compared to some of the other sequels. I've never been a fan of like the Alien versus Predator stuff. Like, it's a really like It's
Dude,
a really like.
I mean, I know how bad that movie is. AVP, like when they're in like the Alaskan like town,
Oh
but
yeah.
but the storyline behind the plot of it were like the predators come to this abandoned whaling town to like to practice being like the best predator in the universe. Like that's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, as I really like how the Prey, specifically Prey, has now can open the doors to like what happens in 1776 when it's the Civil War and the fucking Predator is online. And
Yeah, that's actually, I think that's a great idea.
like you can do kind of like period movies where it's just like an hour and a half, and like all you need to do is get like one good actor who's just like, fuck it, I'll do a Predator movie, just and go run with it. Like it could be super fun. Like so, I think Hulu's got a good smart thing going here. I don't think they should go crazy with it. Like the next one's going to theaters. Like just keep it on Hulu.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I personally don't like Hulu because they kind of like their interface is very weird.
Oh, I hate the way it's set up. Yeah.
It's so miserable. But like if you just keep doing that, I'll definitely watch more Hulu stuff. Like it's very rare that I go on Hulu and I'm like I'm watching this movie because I'm on Hulu. It's just like I've exasperated all other options and now I'm on Hulu.
It's
No
funny
offense,
to that, Jack, because I actually really enjoy Hulu's platform and interface. I actually like it a lot better than, let's just say, something like Paramount. I mean, I do use it on my Xbox, so I don't know if like it's different compared to like smart TV or something, but I'm guessing it's probably pretty similar.
Probably.
But like I hate the Paramount interface. HBO Max's interface bugs me. And I think Netflix and Hulu have the best ones. But I really like your idea of like different period pieces with Predator. I think that would be super, super cool.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of that, I mean, I really like the introduction and sort of the tertiary characters of the French trappers. I thought that was like really cool. And I don't know if you typically watch things with subtitles on, Jack, or not.
Always.
But the subtitles were in French for.
No, I know. It drove me fucking nuts.
It kind of threw me for a loop. I was like,
drove me nuts.
I was like, wait, am I supposed to not know what this is if I don't speak French? Which I guess is kind of them giving the ambiance of like, you're just like the prey. You don't really understand them either. And they're also like kind of secondary villains. But I mean, I knew that there was going to have to be some sort of like mob of people that the Predator could just rampage on. So as soon as I saw the trappers, I was like, oh, they're all going to die.
Yeah, no, it was I even tried switching the subtitles to French to get the English version.
Oh, really?
They
didn't have they didn't have the French option. That's why. I was like, oh wait, wow, those fuckers didn't give me a French option because of that. So yeah, no, I always subtitle gang all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely French trappers too. But like it doesn't have to be in America at all. Like you can go to India where they have like where they have like those huge like claymore type swords and see like how they dealt with it, or like go to China when it's fucking samurais and like predators realize, oh shit, like
there are some nice warriors out here
in different areas of the world or this planet. You have different warriors in different styles. So like I think it's just really cool period pieces. You could definitely get like, you know, if you want to have an Asian character as the lead who hasn't been an Asian character in a while, put him in China, Germany, you can do whatever. So I think it's great. Keep it under 2 hours, under 145.
I think it kind of gave me the similar vibes. I mean, I actually like this other movie a lot better, but similar to like kind of the start of like when Prometheus came out. How it was like it's not named Alien, but it has like those sort of vibes. We know that this is a Predator movie, but at the end, like it's not called Predator or certain things like that. It kind of gave me those vibes where it starts off a little bit slower, definitely sets the tone for like a new time frame and a new period of where we might kind of see these different characters and these monsters. So I really did like that. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. And I definitely like Prometheus better. I've loved that one and actually even really enjoyed Alien Resurrection with Danny McBride. I thought his character was actually really good.
Oh, that like Alien Covenant.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that one. And so I think that there might be a possibility for something like that with this movie as like sort of a because they only kind of did those two for Alien. It was like Prometheus and then Alien Covenant. So maybe there's a chance.
So what they ended up doing with like with Prometheus like I like Prometheus a lot, but the big complaint was like from a lot of people that like, oh, they couldn't really tell it was an alien movie, and then it was also more cerebral than like the other ones, and so it was less action and more like really like thoughtful, like sci-fi, and so people didn't like that.
Baker.
Yeah, so then
Yeah.
with Alien Covenant, they reversed that and went like, okay, let's make it less cerebral and more violent and gory. And honestly, people didn't love that either. You just they need to find like a happy like middle ground. I
Medium.
guess they did with Prey, because from what I heard, like there was no big deal that like it all the like subtle things I guess related to Predator, like a lot of the people really enjoyed, and it still felt like it was within the franchise to a lot of people that were watching it. So I think that is, like I think like Jack said, there's like potential to build like a franchise out of this and just don't go crazy and just release them every, let it breathe a little bit and maybe release another one. And I think when I heard about this one too, is that it kind of harkens back to like what the original movie was like, where it's just like the first movie, there isn't much of a plot. There's just like they're just being hunted and that's it. And that's what makes the first movie so good. I think what happened with the sequels is they try to build all this like mythology and explaining who they are and like
Backstory.
backstory, and like it's just not what it is. Like it was a lot better when it's just like, no, he's just there to hunt, and that's it, and that's it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I will
What was
say
the-
with this one, they like when you talk to the directors, they definitely thought about like the background of the alien, the predators too. Like
Right.
when they say like this is his first time here, so he's not as evolved in the face, or there's subtle aspects to the predator that like change. Like they were talking about how like his net that like cinches people is like a first generation one. Like it's not the one you would see in the older ones, technically in the timeline, the newer ones. But
Right.
so they definitely thought about it. But yeah, just keep it simple, stupid. Like I don't need to like if I ever have to see a Predator movie when we go to their home world, I'm like, all right, too many
Oh,
Predators,
yeah, it's tapped out.
too many talons
Yeah.
everywhere.
Wow.
But yeah, that's I think they definitely read the room with this movie and were like,
Yeah.
make a movie. Yeah, just make a cool movie.
Who won in Alien versus Predator? Was Alien, or did Alien win?
I haven't watched it in so long. I can't remember if they like were too afraid to like. I can't remember if they pulled a Freddy versus Jason where it was like, oh, like they both kind of won.
Alien, just Alien versus Predator is the one in the Alaskan town, correct?
Yeah, but
yeah.
who won?
And they
I'm
made a
telling you
sequel
who
to
won.
it too.
I'm telling you who won. It was Predator and the black chick.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sanaa Lathan. She ends up like.
Oh, okay.
So that's why a lot of people don't like that movie too, because they're like, oh, there's too much human bullshit and not enough like aliens versus predators.
Predators fucking each other up.
Yeah, and but I forgot. Yeah, you just saying that it was one of them and then her, and a lot of people hated that. Made a lot of
No,
money.
I can't see why. I think they can hate it because now that you have Prey, you can see the little evolution of the predators.
Yeah,
You can see it now more clearly now. So I think if people watch it now, it'd be a lot better. Like watching it, rewatching. It's not going to be earth shattering, but I think you'd appreciate like all of the gizmos that they had in that first one. So yeah.
What was the one where there was like
Predators
the
dope? I think Predators are cool. Like I can't think of like a reason the character's not bad. It doesn't speak. It is incredibly athletic.
It's a cool like
awesome.
makeup and costume design. It's like one of the coolest like looking like characters from that era that
It's
still
practical,
looks great.
right? It's practical, right?
Yeah. So it looks really.
I would
good,
love
yeah.
to know who the guy is, like who does like the Predator, because that I can't imagine it's so heavy. Because like you have
Well,
fucking
so much
head.
prosthetic.
in the first movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme played him for like a week or two, and then realized that his face was going to be hidden behind like either a mask or like makeup. It was
Ew.
like, oh, I don't want to do this. So there was another. I always forget his name, but it's he passed away after the second movie came out. But there was a black guy that was also like an extra and a stuntman, and he was super tall. And once Jean-Claude Van Damme like left, they were like, "Do you want to do it?" Because he actually knew how to move really well. Like his moves were all very like sleek, so they really liked that about him. So he played him in like the first two movies after Jean-Claude Van Damme left. But yeah, but that would that was John Claude Van Damme's like reason for not wanting to do it. He's like, they won't see my face. Like, no, like, yeah.
Very fair point. Very fair.
I guess that was fair because like John Claude Van Damme in the '80s and like '87 is pretty decently
like
big.
Icon, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess he would be upset that his face would be covered.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
I
know.
wonder if
It's
he might
definitely
kind of regret it now, though. I don't know. It's a iconic
probably,
movie
I
at this
mean,
point.
just to say that he was the Predator for something like that. I mean, after the success of it, it probably was something that he regrets. But it's
Yeah.
definitely made me want to go back and rewatch some of the other Predator movies. Wasn't there one where there was like a super Predator? And
Yeah,
like,
that
there
was
a little
that was the
boy
last
that
one.
could, like,
That
it
was
was like
That
the
was
kid-
miserable. That one was bad.
That was the Predator, and it's not good. But I do remember. I think it was my second year at Comic-Con. They had a panel, and like all the footage they shows. This is how I could tell like a studio knows how to make a good sizzle reel. Because like that 2 minutes that they showed was like really good, and everyone was pumped. And then like the movie came out, and it was just awful. And
it was about like an autistic kid that like he was really good at video games and was like could fly the ship or something.
yeah, and there was a little kid from like The Room with Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like I think Olivia Munn's in it, and decent. It's a decent cast. It's just like it.
No,
Mhm.
it's
It
a
just felt
decent
flat.
cast, but the plot's a pretty big cop out because like the Predator always wants to get the most elite predator of the other world, and it's not an old saying. It kind of is true that the autism spectrum is the next stage in human evolution. So at the end of the day, the freaking Predator, spoiler alert, wants the kid more than anything. And you're like, are you kidding me? Like,
because he can like operate the ship or something, right?
yeah, no, it's literally just like he's very awkward, and all of a sudden he's like picks up like like a gauntlet, and it's like
Yeah.
so.
I will say the scene in the lab though, that one I do really like that scene.
I do
in
remember
movie.
that. That was a cool scene. There are some cool moments. I just thought overall it
Yeah.
just felt like I still think Predators is the best of the newer ones. But I haven't watched Prey yet. But like that was the one I remember liking the most. And then Predator 2 is like it's not as good as the first Predator, but if you watch it now, it like kind of holds its own as like it reminds me of like RoboCop 2, where like RoboCop 2 is really not as good as RoboCop, but you accept it for what it is. And that's what Predator 2 is. And then also like it's interesting because in Predator 2 you take the action out of the jungle and then put him in the middle of Los Angeles, and that's kind of cool. Where it's like all these Jamaican, he's like basically killing all these Jamaican gang members and stuff, and like, all right, that's fun. But overall, that franchise has been like a really mixed bag. So it's good to hear that like this one is getting well received by most people.
It's funny that you bring up RoboCop too, because my next point was going to be like seeing these kind of things in movies and like these different sort of kills that the Predator does just makes me so happy, and it automatically makes me think that yes, this is a character that deserved to be put in Mortal Kombat, because it's like all of like certain movies like this, like when it comes to like Alien or Predator or some of these like massive like monster villains, it's like when I see a kill like that on screen, I kind of automatically just think, I'm like, well, if this was a Mortal Kombat character, or this is a move that he would have, or these are some of the certain like skills that he would have in order in the game. And so like it's always cool to kind of see some of those things on the big screen and just kind of like validate their choice. I've always kind of liked that with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, definitely. I actually didn't get to watch Prey when I wanted to, because I had to watch Orphan First Kill for work to interview Julia Stiles and Isabel Furman, and I can't give away like all the plot yet because it's still under embargo. But what I think is cool, and this is already like public knowledge, Isabel Furman I think is 24 now, 25, and she was that last movie came out in 2009, so she was a young kid when she did Orphan, and this is a prequel, so this takes place before that movie, and they actually didn't use any de-aging to make her look like a kid still. Like it's all like they use like all forced like perspective, and like they shot her like shorter than like her other actors. Like they talked about how like Julia Stiles, when she would have to act with her, would have to like basically try to look like she was like above her. They just did like all these little things that, because the budget wasn't big, and they were like, we want to try to do this without like CGI, making her look younger on her face, like using computer effects, because sometimes that can look good and then sometimes they can look really bad. But like the director said like, yeah, like I guess if you have them side by side, you can be like, okay, like she's slightly older in this movie, but like if you're just watching it and just looking at her in this, it looks like she's the same age as she was in 2009. And then
Yeah, I mean, when I was
interviewing,
watching the trailer,
yeah, like it's crazy. Interviewing her, she definitely looks 24, 25, and she talks like a full grown adult. Um, but yeah, it was that part of it was like really tripping to me that they made that work without using any like computer effects to like make her look younger.
yeah, no, I think that like, I mean, just the premise in general is something that's like kind of creepy in and of itself, which I really do enjoy. I
Yeah,
thought the first one was good. I mean, it was a twist that like you don't really see coming. Obviously, now it's
yeah,
like
not
it's kind of canon now, I guess you could say, where you
yeah,
kind of know that sort of thing. But I don't know. I'm excited to see this prequel.
yeah. She did say the one perk to doing this one because she's a producer on this and really wanted to make it. And she said the one good thing about doing the prequel is that like since she is an adult, it like people weren't acting strangely with her on set while she was doing like adult
Nice.
things because she does a lot of adult things in the first one, and you're like, how old is this
Yeah.
girl? And like, so
Yeah.
she was like, I do remember that a lot when we made the first movie that everyone was like, just remember we're acting, but oh, she's a kid. Like this is so weird. And she said
Yeah.
finally on this, she's like, they treated me like an adult, and that was like the best part that like no one was
It's a
weird
good
with me or
feeling.
like, yeah, like because like if you remember in that first movie, she did some really off the wall like
Yeah.
especially with like the dad character. There was like all this stuff that was implied with her being like
Hmm.
attracted to him and stuff. Yeah, so she was like, "Thank God I could be in my 20s and do this and not have to like worry about people being
Don't
weird."
come off as like a creeper or something like that.
Yeah. But that is that all the stuff that we watched? Because that's all that stuff I had time to watch. I tried to see Bullet Train and didn't have time to go see it. Hopefully this week because there's nothing really coming out the rest of the summer.
Yeah,
That
I'm
was like
really
the
excited to see Bull Train.
yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see it either, but that's all. That's all that I watched over the weekend, really.
Nice. All right. Well, then I guess we can get to all the craziness that happened last week with Warner Brothers. Um, I mean, I feel like Jack knows this more than like the rest of us, so I'm just gonna tee up with the news that like I heard, thinking that it was like a rumor until like the Hollywood Reporter and Variety picked it up. Um, Warner Brothers completely like scrapped like the Batgirl movie. It's a $70 million movie already shot. It budget actually went up to $90 million because of like COVID protocols on set. It's already completed. They're in the middle of post production. I know he's shearing, but I feel bad for everyone that worked on that movie.
Everyone.
That like, and now it's completely
Yeah,
scrapped.
sorry. Yes, before I am not dancing on the graves of the Batgirl staff or anyone there. That is not what I'm dancing on. I will let Gaius finish the cliff notes while I dance.
So like, it shocked a lot of people, even people that were like kind of maybe feeling the way Jack is. Like, I don't really want this movie to get made because it really is unheard of for like a movie to be that done and for a studio to completely throw it out. But there is a regime change, and like Warner Brothers is no longer Warner Brothers anymore. It's Warner Brothers Discovery, and this is the last of the clip
Soon to
notes.
be HBO Max.
Yeah, what kind of made me upset though is that like they're like, okay, we're not going to release it theatrically or on HBO Max, and the reason they can't do either one is because they're going to make it like a tax write off and like and so since they're doing that, they can't make any profit on it in the future. So the only way that you'll ever see Batgirl is if someone is like stealthy and leaks it somehow online for you to watch. That
I
was what
hope
they
that they
said.
do.
I hope they do too, and that's what they said on the day one. They said that it had nothing to do with the film's quality. They really liked Leslie Grace, and they really want to work with the directors again. But then during the earnings call, it really sounded like it was about the film's quality, and like, yeah, it was a money thing, but it was also like if they didn't 100% believe in the movie, they weren't going to go through with it, and that's fair. But like, be straightforward about what
Yeah.
you're doing, and then
They
another thing.
are.
Another thing I want to point
are.
out too is that Screen Rant found out that they're blaming like all these poor test scores, but apparently the Batgirl's test score got a 60% audience score, and the first director's cut of Black Adam got the same score. So they're like, why are you? I mean, I know why they're working harder to work on Black Adam, but it just the optics just look bad. they don't. I mean, it's not fair to like everyone that worked on Batgirl, and of course, there's all
Yeah.
these other reasons why they think that we're going to get into after we talk about why they scrapped Batgirl. I it was hard
I
for me
have a
to
hot
like.
take on this.
I just felt bad that for everyone that worked on it. Like, and then to find out that the directors found out while they were at like one of the brothers, he was at their wedding. That's when they found out like the news that it got scrapped, and I can see actually the company not telling them in advance that they were going to drop that news. I can see them just being like, yeah, you'll find out when you find out, and it was just I don't know. Movies are hard to make. I know that like one of the things they said is they want to like step away from like the previous regime was all about this like streaming strategy, and they don't want to do that. They want to focus on quality and theatrical releases. And Batgirl wasn't it because it was a smaller budget movie because they were making it for HBO Max, and they were saying that's the main reason why they were like, hey, we can just if we do this now before a certain date, then we won't lose a ton of money on it. And they said that was ultimately the decision. I don't necessarily believe in all that. I think that it could be a combination of like maybe they didn't like the movie. That could be true. All those things could be true, but like I just didn't like at least on my end what sounded like mixed signals from them like over the last like 2 or 3 days after all this like came out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know.
whoever wants to
I have an interest. Yeah, I have an interesting like thought on this, just because like, I mean, The Flash is about to get released, and that's starring like with who's about to be basically a convicted felon, and like he got charged with felony for stealing booze, but like, but like, do you think? I know this might kind of spark some controversy, but do you think that there has any possibility to do with there being a female lead versus a male lead?
All right, let me say this.
I know that's a really
Yeah,
tough topic to do, but
let
it's
me
like
say this.
they scrapped the female lead movie, and
Yeah.
then they put Ezra Miller, and they're still going to release his movie, even though he's
Yeah.
a crazy person.
Let me say this before Jack hops in, because I actually talked to Jack about one part of this off the line, because some of the complaints were it being like a female-led movie, and then also her being like a Latina actress too. They said the optics are just bad, and then Kevin Smith of all people, who like pretty, I guess not a big director anymore, but like significant in the business. Well, that's one of the first things he did say. He was like, the optics look really bad for you to cancel a movie with a Latina lead. I'm sure it wasn't that bad. You could have released it. And they're saying the same thing. They were like, okay, like one regular critic said, like, what does Ezra Miller have to do for you to cancel The Flash? It's like, does Ezra Miller have to kill someone? Because that's where it feels like it's going. And like, it just seems like, and I know it's different, right? The Flash is a bigger property than Batgirl. There's a lot more money behind it. I get that part. The optics do look bad, and I'm just gonna say that I'm not necessarily saying that they're doing this because it's a female lead and because she's Latina, but that narrative did get out there. So you're not the only one that had that.
Yeah, so it's hard to not think that when you see it. It's like, oh well, I mean, if it was just this, and let's just say Ezra Miller was a shining star, like I would kind of be a little bit more. With a little bit more discernment on that, but like, he's fucking crazy, and like they're still gonna release it. So that's the only thing I'm like, well, really, like they're not. Yeah, it's just like you said, it's just a bad look. And even if it's not the case, the perception that it is that's out there is like this. It could be a reason that they did it, but I don't know. I just wanted to get your guys' perspective on that.
Well, being the Hispanic part of this podcast as well, we forgot about that part. That is literally the last, like, when Gaius said that to me, like, I'll point to the Latina, and we'll go with the female, like, get out of town. That, like, literally that had zero to do with, and I'll explain why. I'm not just saying it's an outlandish statement. I will explain why, in my opinion, Flash is being held and Batgirl was thrown in the trash. First off, when Batgirl, the first photo of Batgirl that came out, Gaius, you can't sit here and tell me that not even Warner Brothers, but any movie production studio would let a movie go out with their main superhero not on CW wearing a leather. It just didn't look good. Her costume did not look good. It had the right colors. It had the right tone. It did not look good. And when the directors have to say like, oh wait till the film comes out, it'll look better. No, dude, Batman, Superman reveals, how they look are epic. They should be wow. No one was excited for this. No one even wanted Batgirl to begin with. There's so many other stories that Batman and Superman and Flash and Wonder Woman that need to be fleshed out before you even get into the fact that Bruce Wayne has a Bat family. So I think that this movie just was made because the old regime, the Walter Hamada Warner Brothers regime, had no idea what the fuck they were doing. And that's evident as the new Warner Media with David Zaslav as the head is like, we're not focusing on this this bullshit where it's like we need to like do different stuff than Marvel. Marvel has a foolproof plan. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna focus on that. We're canceling anything that is not pertaining to what we want to do moving forward. The Walter Hamada Warner Brothers, they wanted Michael Keaton as Batman again. They wanted Sasha Calle as the new Superman or Superwoman to lead the Trinity. They somehow were going to put Diana, a Wonder Woman, with Michael Keaton and then Supergirl as the Trinity. Like, in your mind, or you guys are two comic book guys, like, would you really want to see that moving forward?
But I would argue the Michael Keaton thing though, for like a lot of fans of him as Batman, like part of the reason why this news sucked for a lot of people that were looking forward to it was seeing him. And then like I guess the idea of like, okay, if they're scrapping this, like what are they going to do with the Flash? Now we found out later that like they're still releasing it
and
so
that's
far.
why I get into the Flash is that because Batgirl can't change timelines, you know, as you're saying. Yeah, dude, like we know they've read the reports. Ezra Miller is gone. He's no longer being there. It's very, very plausible that because Flash is still in place, they have to explain how shit changes in the DC worlds of comics, whatever. They have to explain it somehow. They can't just like, oh, we're recasting. So deepfake, but you just have the Flash movie, say he fucked up a whole bunch of stuff, and you keep Ben Affleck in some of the movie, which he's in, and then you put him in Aquaman. You have three movies. Two movies that are now somehow connected to like at least a timeline of linear, like we can kind of pick this up, you know, like we can pick up the pieces kind of type deal. Like literally, as David Zaslav has said, we have Batman, we have Superman, we have some of the most iconic IPs in the world, and we have not focused on this. Like I forgot who said it, but I think it was either an executive or a very high up writer is like, they have Henry Cavill as Superman, and we are not focusing on. We should cancel every single project and start again with Henry Cavill. Like, that's what they're gonna do.
The reset like comment and all that.
But like, yeah, but not even like it could just be again. But it's in my mind, it's not even a reset. It's taking the original characters that like Zack Snyder chose to pay these characters, and then just letting them go with other directors and other movies. Like, I don't need Zack Snyder's 5-movie plan of like, we're gonna do this and this and this and this and this. It's like, no, man, like give me an Aquaman movie, give me a Wonder Woman movie, give me a Flash movie. Just change the character at the end of it. Just change the actor at the end of it for all of our sakes. But like the way old DC was going was like they're gonna take Ben Affleck out to put Michael Keaton in, who's like 70. How many movies can you get out of him? And it was all because
why are we dogging on Michael Keaton like that?
I'm not. I don't mean to talk that in a bad way, but like
I think the longevity of Michael Keaton is what we're dogging on.
Yeah, we're not. But like you wouldn't get a Batman movie unless it was Robert Pattinson in an entirely different universe. So like they needed to cancel all of the stuff that like Walter Hamada, who literally was going to leave Warner Brothers this week because they canceled it. The only reason he's staying on as whatever Warner Brothers DC is because of Black Adam. That thought process right there for you should give you indication that he was so stuck in their ways of like, we're going to prove that this is what's good. And they hadn't proven it. They'd not proven it yet, that it was good at all, that any of their ideas were good. Well, let's do this. Patty Jenkins, Wonder Woman 2, absolute nightmare. The only good thing we can talk about is fucking James Gunn and Peacemaker. Everything else
and the Suicide Squad.
theatrically released with the old regime was terrible. Besides,
well, no,
Batman
not Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman.
No, Wonder Woman was fine. Wonder Woman was fine. But if you go back and you read what happened during that, Walter Hamada and like all the other guys were pushing back against the No Man's Land scene where she like dodges the bullets and like
Now, like,
the best scene in the movie.
Yes, the best scene in the movie. They were trying to get out. So it's just, you have to realize it has nothing to do with the directors, the actors, or anything. They were just told what to do. Like, they were just, go make this movie. Here's $90 million. Dude, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon deserves a lot of credit and a lot of mythology to it, because she is technically Batgirl, then Oracle all the way through. You're going to tell me you're going to give me a $90 million movie for her with a leather suit and like apparently 2 scenes with Michael Keaton? Get out.
After all this happened, they started leaking photos from like the set, and like they leaked a photo of her and Michael Keaton together in a scene, and he's in full like Batman costume.
And that Batman costume looks terrible.
Yeah, and they leaked one of Brendan Fraser. I forgot the villain that he plays in it, but they leaked one of him, Firefly,
which I thought a great character to cut for another movie with more money. Like Firefly's dope. He should be flying around in like a B-type mask with like a flamethrower. More money, more CGI. Let's do that. But I'm happy. It's
Brendan Fraser, man.
It's really bad.
Yeah, that was like part of the sadness too on social media, because everyone likes Brendan Fraser, and they're like, man, he's about to have a comeback. Fuck.
No, yeah.
That was only part of his comeback. He has like other stuff coming out.
Yeah, he's got Whale 2 coming out. But it's really bad, the optics, so bad. But when you realize what they're doing, the best way I can describe it is like they're burning a field, like a crop field.
Yeah.
Just burning it all.
Yeah.
Burning all the bad plants, burning it all, letting it all go to the ground, nutrients come back up, and it rehappens.
Well, here's how you not make it look so bad in the case of like Leslie Grace, who was playing Batgirl, because they kind of talked about this in the first article that came out. Make her a lead in one of your movies. It doesn't have to be like a comic movie, but give her something for like canceling like what could have been a pretty, even if the movie, I don't know if the movie was good or bad, but like it could have been a really big break for her.
Dude, from what I read, it wasn't good. From what I read, it wasn't a good movie.
And I wonder if they like renegotiated I wonder if they renegotiated the actors' contracts, because typically something like that, a lot of stuff, it's not necessarily just box office, but like streaming views or something, and a lot of that is kind of baked into what they get like as residuals. So I wonder if they, I'm guessing that, Michael Keaton, if he's dressed up as Batman, he definitely got a paycheck. It's like, I'm wondering sort of what the payment structure was for this and what they had moving forward.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with her. I think with the directors, though, I think Warner, the company, wants to still be in line with them, because they did Bad Boys for Life, which made a lot of money before like the pandemic hit. They did a few episodes of Miss Marvel that were well received as well. So like I think they want to work with them or continue to work with them. I just wonder if I was them, it'd be very hard for me to like want to work with them, because everything is just so like still, even though there's all these changes that are coming, it just feels like so like messed up still. Like it just feels like it's
100% messed up, but it's like we only get like what the tabloids tell us, so it's not luckily like we don't know the 10-year plan yet right now, but like for all we know, like it could be in 6 months. Hey guys, we signed Henry back, we can finally confirm Ben's back, there's an Aquaman trailer, like this is what we're gonna do. And if that plans out, that's great. And I think there was something in the article on the call, it's like we're gonna be announcing and releasing in smaller windows. Like, I didn't understand that as if it was we're going to announce it and then it's going to come out in a shorter amount of time, rather than like Marvel that says like 2025, see ya. Or are they going to keep it in theaters for like 30 days, then jump to?
So that's part of it. They're getting rid of, which was part of the previous regime. Like after 45 days, like it would go to HBO Max, and they're dropping that now. They don't want to. They want to focus. It just depends on the movie too. Like they said, they're not completely giving up on their streaming stuff, but like they.
Okay, yeah, I want to point that too out before you get confused, people. or well, at least allude to what we're talking about with this, like basically abandoning HBO Max. They laid off like what 70% of HBO Max original. So you have to remember they had HBO, like the premier original content channel, before they made HBO Max originals. So they're just getting rid of those people. Like the random TV shows that Owen does, like me and Owen just blow by on it, because like I wouldn't. What?
I mean, if you're talking about Pretty Little Lies, or what is it?
No,
Big Little Lies. You and Serge, man. You and Serge always mix up the shows. He's like, "What's that show?
No,
Pretty
but
Little
like,
Liars?" I was like, "No, you don't watch that."
Good HBO Max originals.
No, yeah, they're just gonna move it all to HBO. They're just gonna call it HBO. You know, TV with the fuzzy box thing. So it's definitely a regime change in there. But like again, like I was saying before, like we only get what the tabloids say. Like they're smart people. They're really smart. It's also because they're combining Discovery Plus and HBO Max together. So you can't have so much on it. Get rid of the HBO Max toggle.
They were saying that like the Discovery Plus, because Discovery Plus skews more female and HBO Max is more male. Yeah, so they were saying like they'll get to have the best of both worlds on one service. They didn't talk about like how much that service would be, or if there would be any price changes and stuff like that. And they didn't say what the service would be called yet. They did quietly
Disco Max Plus.
Disco Max. They did quietly get rid of a bunch of HBO originals on HBO Max. Like they're not on the platform anymore. And I think the shows and movies that are still there are shows and movies that are proven hits. So they're not gonna like toss out Euphoria, or they're not gonna toss out the new Gossip Girl. They're not gonna toss out Peacemaker, because everyone was all worried about like certain shows that are on that platform. And if the ones that are doing well, the ones that are doing well are fine. Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. So they're not getting rid of HBO Max people. They're just getting rid of an arm of the original content that they were trying to like push out to be different than Netflix or Hulu or anything. Yeah. And it's just they already have an original content team. So in HBO, so you don't need another one.
RIP to all those people's jobs. Hopefully they find some
hope you guys get something
with Hulu or one of the other million streaming services.
And by the way, I don't mind the 10-year plan thing, because like at least it sounds like they're positive about like focusing on quality over quantity. But like one of the main things that got brought up is like, oh, we want to do a 10-year plan that's similar to like Disney and Marvel. And I get it, because it's successful for them, but they got made fun of a lot on social media. Like they're like, oh, so you're just going to copy what this other company is doing and probably not do it as well.
If a company makes like $50 billion, I'm going to probably try and copy what they've done to try and do the same.
Yeah. But I
think they were more alluding to what we were talking about last week or 2 weeks ago, Owen, where like they're looking for that guy. Like they're looking for Feige again.
Yeah.
And my coworker actually brought this up to me. Funny little anecdote. I was complaining about Joker 2, and my coworker's like, yeah, they're making it a musical. I turned my head like none of you, like, what the fuck did you just say? And he goes, yeah, man. He's like, wait, you know about DC Comics? He's like, yeah, man. Shows me a huge Batman shoulder tattoo. It was awesome. But he said that the perfect guy to do this, Sam Register, who is the executive producer of all of the DC animated films that have come out since like 2015. So like
that sounds Batman, like a pretty good idea.
Batman Bad Blood, Justice League War, Apocalypse War, like literally all of those movies are all headed up by one person. And I will literally fight with anyone that those movies and that continuity is like some of the best continuity in animated, like it blows Marvel out of the water when it comes to animation and like how they do the storyline. It's all there, dude. Like even if you just watch the Justice League portion of those animated films where they're all like they do war, then they do Apocalypse War, then they have this and that. It all lines up. And then you go into like 3 Constantine movies, all great. They have like Zatanna, they have all this. Then you have Batman's like 7 movies that he has that are all awesome. Then you have Superman's 4. Wonder Woman has 2. The Flash has Flashpoint. Like, actually, no, I don't think that one's connected to that personally. But what I'm saying is that guy knows what he's doing with a longer timeline of plans. So just tap him to do it. He's already in studio. Tap him to do it. Get somebody who knows how to budget stuff for movies and call it a day. I think he should be it. I'm pretty sure that's the guy he was talking about, but the executive producer of all the DC animated films.
Sounds like a pretty good fit.
Yeah,
I can't think of anyone better, So
this is this pulled up on the Hollywood Reporter, which I thought was interesting. The headline is DC Films reset adds more confusion for Warner Brothers, and they talk about all the comments that were made about focusing less on streaming and blah 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 and all that. And the article says the remarks were not well received inside DC, according to multiple insiders who use the same word to describe members of the film division as pissed off. And DC Films president Walter Amada, of course, nearly exited because of it. They said that there's still just there's just mad confusion within within DC Films and what they're trying to do with Warner Brothers Discovery now.
That happens with any merger though. I feel like, but that happens with any merger though. Regardless of the fact that DC, and again, it's so funny because we have to talk about DC in a singular silo. Yeah. Warner Brothers makes other movies. They make a lot of movies a year, and the fact that everyone's in a tizzy because DC is getting shut on, it's you kind of deserve it, guys.
Yeah.
You didn't are you seriously trying to defend yourself? Seriously, people in the movie division. I'm your biggest defender on this podcast. Like I said, they're gonna get it right. They're gonna do it. You haven't done it right.
Well, they said that Walter.
They
said that his plans were said to have included a Crisis on Infinite Earth event, which has already been done on TV on the CW. They also were going to, of course, do more with Supergirl, Green Lantern. Green Lantern show is still happening on HBO Max. They said that's still moving forward.
That's great. Great.
And then they said that some key collaborators have received assurances that their projects are safe, including James Gunn for Peacemaker Season 2. They also said that Blue Beetle is also safe and on track for an August 2023 release. Everyone was worried after Batgirl. They couldn't cancel both Latino lead movies.
Also, I think that because dude, the leak photos of Blue Beetle, I think we've said it before, awesome. They're fucking sweet. So that would get me angry. That'd be because Blue Beetle is as my plan said, get a space connection so you can do stuff in space later down the line. Warner Brothers, you need
with
that.
Green Lantern, I'm dying for Green Lantern, man. That's my favorite DC character.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. They say it's a very effects-heavy show too. They're just taking their time with it. They already cast the lead, and
as it should. If it wasn't effects-heavy, then I would be it's not Green Lantern.
It's not Green Lantern at all. But yeah, but I think everyone was just scared when they canceled Batgirl that everything was about to get wiped out, and that fear was that was a legit fear for at least a day or two. And so
okay, it's a fear. I only feel bad for the actual cast and crew who are there working their ass off, the directors who put their heart and soul into it, Leslie Grace obviously, but everyone was just an account manager at Warner Brothers Films. You should not be feeling bad about this at all. Your job does not affect the movie being made. You just gotta kind of roll with the punches. And if I'm a dick, I'm a dick in this point, but you weren't doing well.
Yeah.
Just straight up. You were not doing well.
Also, RIP to Scoob Holiday Haunt, because that was also canceled along with Batgirl. and within the same story, and no one really
totally
they're oh, okay. They were okay, cool. Even though there was a sequel or a prequel coming out. But that also got scrapped. And that movie was actually 95% done. And they already paid the composers to do music. So they said they're going to finish it because they're we already paid them. We're going to do the music and kind of keep it for ourselves. That sounds so sad to be working on something like that, though. And then it
sucks. And no one ever sees it.
And that's awful. I mean, that was one thing I just thought about that whole time. And then they tried to soften the Batgirl blow by being oh, look at this Joker news. All right, the sequel's coming out. And October 2024.
Their PR team was on full alert. That whole
they were like Lady Gaga, we need you to post this on your Instagram.
Yeah, they were now. waiting for the post for Joker, and they're release the news and now post the Joker.
And now go. And that just I guess that mostly confirms that it is gonna be a musical.
Shut up! Shut up!
It's gonna be
Shut up! Don't fucking say it.
You're gonna regret this in 2024.
I
when
am
it's,
not going to regret
well,
this.
when it's sweeping the Oscars.
I got into three fights on Instagram. I got into 3.
I saw
separate-
that. I saw. Okay, so he gets into a fight, and I saw that he tagged us in one of them. He was like
Yeah,
going
so I
at
was
it,
like,
going
listen
at it
back.
with this guy. And I'm like,
Yeah, because
probably a
now
12-year-old.
now my thing is I say listen to Back to the Blockbuster because I'm so tired of typing out to these keyboard warriors.
It's probably like a 13-year-old kid.
No, but it's yeah, no, it 100%. Dude, hey man, you want the smoke? You gotta get it, man. But dude, no, like I clarified my statement more. It's like if I fucking see the entire like group of inmates like start doing a whole choreography that is not clearly a dream sequence where it's like he's dazing off to space, I will walk out of the theater. I'm not kidding. I'm not.
Is that a promise?
Yeah. If it's not a dream sequence where it's like
Wait, so
full
you only
on,
want
like,
one scene? Okay, so you're not expecting a full movie musical? I feel like that's what they're gonna do.
if it's I will walk out straight up.
Like it might be like a full like In the Heights,
And
Les
Walk the
Miserables.
If it's a
Did
full,
he sing
full-on
it?
In
Walk
the
the
Heights,
Line?
Les Miserables, I will straight up walk out. And I mean, it's so hard for me to say that because I have a tattoo of the Joker. I have the poster for Joker 1 right there. I have like so many Joker things. For them to do this, it would be just so stupid. No one
I hate
wanted
to-
Joker 2.
I know they
The
didn't.
only
I hate to
people
say
who
this,
wanted
man,
Joker
though.
2 was Warner Bros. And now they're all gone. But because it made $1 billion, it's got all the hype. It's gonna get made. Do
All
not
the
make it.
memes.
Just don't make it. Yeah, I can see all the memes happening right now. Like, and if people argue that like they're making it a musical because Joaquin dances a lot in the other one, yes, he dances. And like that scene where he's walking down the stairs in the Bronx, like that's dope. Like that's iconic because he's nuts and has no idea what's going on. But if you add Lady Gaga, who's like belting out this like ballad, and she's supposed to be Harley Quinn, like I'm okay with her being Harley Quinn. That's totally fine. Like I'm not knocking her as an actor in any way, shape, or form. Just don't make this fucking movie a musical. I swear
Well,
to God.
dropping that news when they did it actually did work for like a lot of the film critic nerds who were like upset about Batgirl. Like they
I
were
saw
like,
a lot of people reposting it on Instagram.
yeah, they were very much like, oh, like now it's real and it's true. Like this could be really cool. I mean, we talked about it before. It's something that could be really good if they get it right. Like I could see it. Like if you had like it would kind of remind me of like I don't know. You've never seen Sweeney Todd. I don't know if you have or not. It's one with Johnny
I have
Depp.
seen
It's like a
Sweeney Todd.
so it could be something like that. That's like a really good like dark movie musical. You just don't want to see your favorite character sing and dance. I get it.
Would you? Who's your favorite character?
I mean,
Yeah, how about a Halloween musical?
Would you imagine
Michael
Superman
Myers.
bursting into a can
Michael Myers singing.
line? Could you imagine Batman doing the Dougie? No. Fuck.
well, this was not good news for Jack, unfortunately.
I mean, I've known the news, but like it's like everyone's like, it's like it's getting more and more evident that this could possibly be. So I'm just like, fuck, what the hell am I supposed to do with myself? But yeah, no, I mean, they did so well with the first. I think it would honestly be an insult to the composer who won an Academy Award to make this like a sing-songy musical.
Well, I mean, they could actually actively work with her, like with Lady Gaga, on like doing the music. I mean, like the composer and her. Like, I mean,
no, I know
mean,
that, and I guarantee you, like Gaga is gonna kill it if she like has any input on like the music, the composing of it. My only thing is just like the choreographed song and dance. Like if they do like a
it's gonna be very interesting to see.
yeah, like if they happen to like be talking and all of a sudden they're like doing a slow dance around like the whole like cafeteria or whatever, that's fine. And like she's like singing quietly to herself and like to them, that's fine. But if it comes into this big Les Mis fucking
Les
Mis
or like in the Heights where it's like you can literally feel the dance routine coming along, like it's like, oh, I had such a hard day. And then it's like, yeah, that. And it's all of a sudden, it's
five
like
different characters are starting to talk to each other.
yeah,
and they're
exactly.
all like walking down the aisle.
Exactly. I don't want that. That's what I don't want. Let me be
either.
clear on that. I can't deal with that. But like, I can deal with like Gaga, like
Snapping.
yeah, like no, I don't need that, Owen. I don't want that. You get that fucking out of here. No,
Oh gosh, I couldn't do it either.
I'm sweating right now. How angry I am.
I like how we all kind of like disagree about what was the worst news for Warner Brothers this week. Because I was like, I was
shout
fine
out-
with that. I was like, whatever.
No, I
In
will
between-
shout out though, my sister. The only thing my sister got excited for Joker because Gaga's in it. So she texted me, "He's like, is the universe telling us that we now have a movie? Like me and you have a movie to share?" It's like,
Oh, nice.
so I was like, all right,
Nice.
cool, Ma, you got that. Shout out, Mom.
Well, that-
She
Well,
actually
that
was a
means you
Gaga-
can't walk out the theater. Then I mean, you're not gonna see it with her. I guess, but like, you can't.
Oh
just
no,
walk
I mean,
out.
okay, yes, that's the only way I'm not walking out of the theaters if
You
Molly's
see it with your
in the
sister?
theater with me. Yeah, but at that point, I might look at her and be like, "I'm walking out. And I'll see it. I'll see you outside." She might understand because she knows me. But yeah, she took my mom to see Gaga this weekend, so she's huge into Gaga. So, it's definitely gonna be another $1 billion movie.
Maybe. Well, probably. I don't know. Well, thank you again, Warner Brothers, for giving us something to talk about for an episode.
Yeah.
I one day I want
Right,
to talk about them so positively, and like it just
So-
like someone. My friend David actually was like, I like that you guys kind of go in on them because it's, sometimes
They're my
deserve it.
favorite studio.
But
They're
I
my
was like,
favorite studio.
Jack like love hates them, and it's very like complicated relationship.
No, it's
He
like,
has
it's like
a-
I love the Yankees. I scream at the Yankees all the time. I think they're idiots like all the time, but I love them. Like if it really came down to it, it's like favorite studio, it's like easily Warner Brothers, like no doubt about it. But
Yeah.
they're just idiots. They're just idiots.
Yeah.
I'm a New Line Cinema fan.
All right.
Oh.
but now that we've gone ranting, Owen, you're besides the movies that are coming out, minus Black Adam, minus Flash, Aquaman, what are the next 3 projects that you need to see to prove to yourself, for Warner Brothers to prove to yourself that they actually are on the right track? You can go in as depth if you want, or just like, I want a Superman movie and whatnot. So, and the same question will go to you guys.
Let's see. I want to see something that
You
like
can include Green Lantern too, because it actually hasn't been announced.
yeah, I mean
You
Green
can call
Lantern's definitely like my favorite character within the DC universe. So I think that like incorporating him in the right way, because I mean I know that the other Green Lantern didn't like necessarily have the best positive reviews, but like
I like
actually
it.
kind of enjoyed it a little bit. I
It's
definitely
fun.
enjoyed it a little bit. Just in terms of like all the other Green Lanterns, I really like that part of the saga and like sort of like that history of Green Lantern. But I want to see something that's like, gosh, I just want to see like more realistic characters. Like I feel like there's Wonder Woman was the only one where I actually felt like there was like some like character development, and like I actually had sort of like feelings about certain characters. I didn't really feel that much with Ben Affleck's Batman. I didn't really feel it that much even when watching Man of Steel, and like certain different things like that. Just in terms of like the way that there were certain things within that movie that I had issues with when it comes to like the defining moment in a character's story and like why they are the way that they are. Like his dad saying, no, don't use your powers because you're gonna get like and then like what was it, like 2 years later, 3 years later, he becomes Superman. It's like there's a lot of different things with the telling of the story, and I'm not like a huge like historian on Superman, but I just want to see more realism, and I want to see like not every single punch sends you a mile down the road. Like when it comes in terms of like their power, like all of the superheroes, it seems like, are immensely powerful, but nothing really happens to them. Like all of their attacks just do too much damage while actually not doing really anything at all. So it's like I feel like there's some sort of disconnect in the terms of the action that DC has with the way that they sort of interact with each other. Like the General Zod Superman fight, like, yeah, it's cool, but like, I don't know, like there's something about it that just like kind of sat the wrong way with me.
No.
Stop. Just
Wait,
stop hitting. Stop.
Jack
hating
looks
on Man of
confused.
Steel.
Jack looks confused, but I understand what Owen is saying.
I get it
about
too,
it,
but
like
like it's really simple to see. Like all I can point to the points of like what like.
I think
So
that
yeah.
Gowen's giving the politician's answer right now, running around the answer.
But
He wants a Green Lantern.
I want a Green Lantern
show.
movie. I
He
want a
wants
Green
a-
Lantern movie. I
Yeah.
also really want to see like I think they might be bringing it up in Black Adam, but Adam, like the Doctor Who
Oh, Atom Smasher.
No.
No,
um,
there's two versions of
No.
it. You're thinking there's two versions. There's Doctor
the scientist who can
Dr. Chen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's it. Yeah, I want to see that. And I
Actually, fun fact about that. After Justice League, when Zack Snyder was still working on it, he pitched an Atom movie fully based in China with Ryan Chen, the actor, and they said no. And he was like, I can make it a fully Chinese movie. Like everyone in the movie is Chinese.
mhm.
They're like, nah. So he had plans for it. Like he's the director of nanotechnology in that movie. He's like the whole thing. So
that would
that's
I think that would be sick.
good call.
I also think that Firestorm. I want to see Firestorm.
I liked how they used him on the Flash, like on the TV show, but that's just me.
No, hey, I like
saw
Fire.
that.
I like Firestorm.
Yeah.
He was dope. Jackson.
Yeah, I thought they used him
Gaius.
really well.
Your
I
I
want a proper Superman sequel or Man of Steel sequel. I guess we never got one. I don't really count Batman vs Superman as
Just the Superman
one.
movie.
Yeah,
As
he
you
needed his own like solo movie.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind seeing something with Nightwing. 'Cause I've always thought that character was cool. See, I'm more of a Marvel person than a DC person, so I'm kind of
Ooh.
reaching a bit. But I think
Okay.
Nightwing would be cool to kind of. And I know they talked about doing it for a while. There was always rumors about who would be playing that character, but I thought that'd be a cool one to kind of do. And it wouldn't have to be like a huge budget either. Like you can do something really like kind of, I hate the word gritty, but like more smaller scale than what they're doing now. And I can't think of another character. I can't. But I want to say I agree with Owen with what he said. Like there is a disconnect for me when watching some of their movies where I don't feel like a proper connection to some of those characters at all. I felt that while watching Wonder Woman, the first one, which was so disappointing in the second one where they didn't really like do much with that. Like you liked her because Gal Gadot played her and she plays her well. There wasn't much more like development there at all. But in that first movie, they actually gave her like a really interesting arc from like start to finish, and I don't really get that in their other like. I didn't get that while watching Aquaman. I don't get that while watching Batman versus Superman, which is I like Ben Affleck's Batman, but that's only because I think he's a good actor playing the part well, not because he's bringing much like depth to it, I guess. And I would like to see more of that. And I think Marvel does that well, like where there's all these like kind of like there are these big fantastical elements in those movies, but a lot of them are still very character driven, and you care about the people in them. And I think that's something that DC. I think that's something that DC lacks. And like I would like to see in their plan, their 10-year plan moving forward, whatever they do, is that you can have a 10-year plan, but I want your stories to be good. Like I want you to actually like develop these characters and make them someone we can like root for and care about. And I think that's kind of what they haven't done really yet, other than Wonder Woman.
Okay, yeah. I agree. I love both your points. I will just point. I think that the reason we haven't connected with, I mean, I'm personally not the case in this sense. I feel very connected to Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck's characters, and even like Ray Fisher's Cyborg. But they like when we first saw Man of Steel, he had only been Superman for like a day. He'd been Clark Kent for like 33 years. And I felt like that first 30 minutes where he's like a loner, he's working on a rig, all this stuff. He's just like going away. It's because he can't fit himself into this universe. He has no idea who he is. So I felt that was the way. And then all of a sudden he's like fighting his only other relative or person that he ever knows is the same as like him. He has this huge conflict, but like, how does he do it? Yeah. I'm not going to get into it, but I just felt that you're overlooking the little parts of like, he walks out of a job because a dude's fucking with him, but he knows he could fuck him up. But that's like a basis of Superman is you don't pick on people or like you stand in your ground. So that's that. For Batman, we met him like 20 years too late. Like the guy is so because of Batman vs Superman, he's like branding motherfuckers and going crazy. So there's really not much connection to make there. You don't know his trauma. All you know is that he's really angry with the world and that Superman is like his main target because he's scared that the world will burn down. So yeah, you're both right on that sense. There needs to be a little bit more connection. But again, I also think that DC, the old regime, just rushed into making the movies and they didn't give a plan out. If you want more heart in the movies, I mean, you're gonna hate me guys, but you're gonna need the Marvel girlfriend experience in that. Like, you're gonna need like the way, like you like. Yes, we love Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, but like you take out Pepper Potts from the story, what is he? He's just an asshole. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see
I
what
get
you're
it.
saying.
Like, if you take out Hope from with Scott Lang, you just have a nerdy single dad.
I guess it's like what's the motivation? Yeah, I guess I can see where
Exactly.
you're going from that.
Like you need, like, there's no time in a DC movie for motivation, because all of a sudden they went from Man of Steel to Batman vs Superman, world's gonna blow up with
To
dudes.
Justice League.
So
But
Justice
like,
League.
yeah, Justice League. But then the one shining moment when we actually do care about the characters is Wonder Woman, when there is a love interest in it and there are funny characters that you start to like. So here you go, is you need to make a Batman movie that when he's back 10 years ago, 8 years, like back in the middle of his career, not a beginning origin story, because Robert Pattinson's Batman's got that down. So you give me the Ben Affleck script with Deathstroke and Joe Manganiello as the first one. So now you have two title characters that you can then make TV shows with Deathstroke, and you can continue this arc with Batman, or you can subvert it, like at least see how he got to be so jaded in Batman vs Superman. And that settles who Batman is in this timeline. Who cares this or that? It's Ben Affleck. Get over it. It's happening. 2, Green Lantern needs to happen. The amount of diversity you can have in that show is unbelievable. And that's what they need. Right now they have Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, and Jason Momoa as like their multicultural faces, which are great. I mean, you have a half white, half Polynesian guy or Hawaiian guy, and however you want to consider it, and Jason Momoa. Gal Gadot is like Middle Eastern.
Israeli.
I'm not
Israeli.
Israeli. I'm not gonna pick one. And then Ray Fisher's black. So like right there, that's great. But then like all of a sudden you get another woman in there with one of the female Green Lanterns. You get Guy Rayner. You get Jon Stewart. You get Spanish one. You can make up characters to like fit the role of that. So that's great. Boom. You have either a series or you have a movie in space. Justice League starting to come out. You've added another person to Justice League now too. So you have 6. So you can have Justice League movies actually where everyone's recognizing it. So
Yeah.
that's 2.
No.
And then 3, 3 is a tough one. Oh wait, what am I talking about? It's not a tough one. Superman. Yeah, you have to have another Superman movie where it's not like connected to anything. It's just I mean, it is connected to anything, but it's just a straight up Superman movie where it's the Superman, and I'm not saying this to compare Henry to Richard Donner, but like the Superman we all know and love, the dude who saves cats out of the tree. We need that type of movie with epic action. And it could be either a space villain in Brainiac, or it could be Metallo, like it just needs to be a Superman movie where we get, all the good Superman stuff that we love, know and love. So I think that right there, they're obviously going to make Wonder Woman 3. Like that's no brainer.
Yeah.
They're going to make it. So that really is just a matter of if they're going to make it good or not.
I really want to see also too Gorilla Grodd.
Which is a Flash thing. Yeah. So you put him in the next movie with the Flash, and ready. Oh, and they blow your mind. They'll blow your mind here too. They even allude to the fact that Ezra Miller's Barry Allen knows gorilla sign language. They were already teasing Gorilla Grodd in Justice League when he's like, "What are your special talents?" Like, I know web design, sign language, gorilla sign language. Like they were teasing that. So it's like not lost on Zack Snyder that all this stuff was going to happen down the future. It's just Warner Brothers, Walter Hamada's team sucks. So those are mine. Give me a younger Batman with Deathstroke, super easy. Green Lantern with a bunch of characters, and then a Superman movie that's like grounded more in like the Superman we know and love. I think those will be like the 3 things like to get you guys back on track.
Also,
then you
bonus
add
points
in-
if you back up the Brinks truck and give Henry Cavill all the money he wants to come
Yeah.
back. like
Batman should've-
all the
Batman
money. Just give him all the money he wants to come back. I don't think he really needs a lot. He wants to do it. So
Yeah.
like fix that too. I would love to have him have it, like a chance to have his proper like Man of Steel sequel. That would be a lot that would fix that for me, I think.
Yeah, so
the
I
only-
think
yeah.
that's really, I really think that's got to be the way. If those happen, I think we should be in a good spot. But until then, let's just enjoy Marvel for what they've given us or are going to be giving us.
Well, unfortunately, we don't work for Warner Brothers, but like I hope they do. I mean, I'm gonna try to be confident that like this new team and like this new leadership, like, will fix things. And like it probably was tough having to deal with the Batgirl thing right before their earnings call. They probably knew that was gonna be like a hit, like a hit on them. Like it wouldn't look good, but I think they did the best they could. And like I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. I want something good to come out of it. So hopefully that 10-year plan is excellent. And because he did say that he's seen Black Adam, he said he saw Shazam, and he saw The Flash, and he said all 3 movies are very good. So hopefully moving forward, those are like things are getting better.
Me too.
Yeah.
Think about it. You have those 6 movies come out: Flash, Shazam, Black Adam, Batman, Green Lantern, Superman. I can't think of like awesome and Wonder Woman. Like and yeah, so like I think and Aquaman, shit, that's coming out too. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to be hopeful for. It's just we really got to see some. I don't think we won't see anything for like 2 months, 3 months about like what their plan is. So
Yeah.
it's really all just hoping and praying at this point.
Mhm.
Well, until then, this is also I like when we do these where it's not like a planned episode. We knew we had to talk about
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Always my
But,
favorite.
I always wanted to do Warner Brothers. I do have another off Warner Brothers topic to talk about. If we're kind of done with that.
What's up?
They keep releasing more Daredevil shots, and I really don't like the yellow helmet. I think it's just very odd. But super excited to see him. So there's that, and then I think Rosario Dawson might have dropped that.
This is like the second or third time that she's dropped information that she's not supposed to.
Yeah,
then goes,
that Punisher and John Bernthal coming back.
Yeah, I saw that, and she walked back on those comments. She did a similar thing when they were talking about Hayden Christensen being on her Star Wars show, and she was like, "Oh wait, no, I didn't mean that. I don't know." Like, deleted her post.
Sorry guys, I got bad information. It's like
Yeah.
you are
direct
the-
information.
Had information that you weren't supposed to say.
Oh, you got
exactly.
direct information. Yeah, no, that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I think of all the. I mean, if you're keeping Daredevil, I'm sure you're gonna want to keep John Bernthal as a Punisher. I think maybe Jessica Jones, or like Kristen Ritter, but she just got cast on that like Orphan Black like offshoot series. So I mean, maybe she can do both if it's like a limited series. But like, yeah, I think you want to keep most of those people except for Iron Fist. So yeah, perfect.
Except for Iron Fist.
Except for Iron Fist, no one like Finn Jones as Iron Fist.
Okay,
Sorry,
dude.
Finn.
Finn Jones
Sorry
is
for
good. The writing was horrible.
He was fine on the Defenders because that's when he was surrounded by really good people that like elevated him like a little better than like his solo show. But yeah, I would like to see most of those people come back. So I hope what she leaked is true, and we get to see him come back as Punisher. And that'd be great as well. And I know we're gonna wrap things up now. I wanted to kind of throw this out there to people who are listening, or I want to post it on Instagram. August is a very light month kind of for the movies. Actually up until September, because the summer box office is like pretty much over. And I was reading today in Variety that like there's no real big movies coming out until October. There's some smaller like indie ones like Don't Worry Darling that Olivia Wilde's doing that looks really good, but they're all mostly small. So I'm gonna throw out there if there's anything fun that you kind of want us to do, or if you guys have ideas for stuff that Jack and Owen for us to do, because it is a very light month movie wise. I'm down to do whatever. So I'll just put that on Instagram to see if you guys have any ideas on what you guys want us to talk about. If there's any movies in particular you want us to talk about, if there's something that you think we should watch and like kind of break down a bit. Also open up. I'm open to that too in the month of August.
Can we do a spot? I have a movie that I've wanted to do a spotlight on. Do you have it? When was the last time you did a spotlight on a movie?
It's been a while. Yeah. I think you were the next one. Yeah.
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 I I
Sweet.
So yeah,
Do that.
so yeah, that could be next because like September or August and September, it's barren now. After we had a really good summer of like hit after hit after
A lot of
hit.
stuff going on.
Yeah. But yeah, if there's like that'll be through August and September. So if there's anything that you want us to do, like he'll do his spotlight. I never got to do mine either. I can do mine after Jack's.
Yeah.
do
And
it.
then we'll just rotate around again. But yeah, we just want to keep it
Perfect.
interesting while like there's no real content for the month of August and September for us to go like see and watch. So yeah, wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Sounds
then
good.
as always, Owen, you can sign us off.
Perfect. Well, guys, I still have both my fingers, so good thing that we can good thing we can wrap today up with a good win, and always good to record. I know we're doing this Tuesday, but one of my favorite parts of the week is just getting to talk about stuff with you guys, especially when a new movie comes out, even something like Prey. I like when something new that's like a little bit under the radar comes out, and we can even just talk about it for about 20 minutes and just kind of say what we liked, what we didn't like, what it reminds us of. And love the fact that you guys are all listening and continuing to listen to us as well. Thank you for all the good ratings on Good Pods, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you guys write a review, we're gonna read it out on the podcast. So please continue to review us and leave some of those 5-star ratings. We always appreciate that, and just want to shout out to Playlist, our partner in this. They've continued to be just the greatest partner out there. And so shout out to Playlist, big huge fan of them. And yeah, just keep listening to us, and we have a lot of content coming your way. I know that the summer months are a little bit starting to come to a close, but we've had a lot of packed episodes, so it'll be nice to kind of just chop it up and talk about some things that we haven't gotten to in the past, just because we have so much stuff that we need to cover. So excited to go into a little bit more in depth into some of our favorites, and yeah, leave some comments on things that you want us to listen to, or want us to cover, want us to watch. And we'll dive into them and give you guys kind of what you're looking for. So hope you guys have had a great week, and we will see you guys next week. And Jack?
Yeah, no, I apologize. I usually bring the energy right now, but my throat is very hurt after this weekend and all this ranting. But also, I really need to I don't want to close off with information, but like it literally leads directly to it. I'm reading something from Giant Freaking Robot. Dwayne Johnson is going to be made an official advisor to the new vision of DC comic book adaptations and will heavily involve in helping guide its future.
Wow.
So that confirms for me personally that Henry's coming back. And then besides that. So anyways, thank you everybody for liking and subscribing. Hit that freaking like button. We need all the algorithm on our side. Like, subscribe. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you don't. We really appreciate when you get that algorithm on our side. This is Jack Gonzalez. My throat really hurts. Owen has 2 fingers that are still attached. Thank God. Gaze is perfectly healthy today.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
You're perfectly fine today. So we're all rocking and rolling. We appreciate you guys. Tell your mother, tell your father, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your mother, and tell your neighbors about us. And we'll see you next week. Cheers, boys.
Sounds good. Peace.